Used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion.
Ooh.
So their mansion actually sat in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant, came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters. So that's the layout of the land. Who the hell were these people? Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks. That's why we look for secondary clues. I need to know in the event that you hear the name Charles, which one I'm directing. Because again, they are 3 different men. So the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us. You guys live in Florence, so not really sure if you knew that or not.
No.
But yeah, one of them was raised right here. It's a big deal for South Carolina, but I hate politics. We're gonna move on. I'm not gonna be sitting here throwing government shit at you. You're here to have a good time. Especially with all the damn caucuses going on right now. Nobody wants to hear about government. But if I don't give them that recognition, they're gonna do it for me in a very nasty manner. And I think your finger is covering up the...
It just said qualified.
The camera is right here, so just in case you're like wondering why everything was dark.
Gotcha.
So, but we're going to be talking about Eliza instead. She has a much better history, and obviously she's going to be the one we're going to be hunting down. So I hate to say it like that because we're going to be trying to make contact, not hunt down. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. So if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, don't expect numbers from colonial days like 12 and 14 when girls got married.
Yeah.
Think of today's standards, because her husband was over double her age when they married. So it's a creepy age gap then, creepy age gap now.
Got
So
it.
again, there's a little clue. I'm not going to give you the exact numbers, which by the way, this is where I start withholding information. I'm not going to give you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the big red barn. So moving on. She marries her husband because her father's over in England. He
It
thinks
just said power over.
the father in England thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring his kids home one last time so he can see him. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put. She got married at 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. So she didn't marry him out of love. This is a true love story, and this is one of those places where I say we need to show some respect. So back to Eliza. She was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of the gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes blue jeans blue. So that's what we use it for now. But when she got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's obviously not warm here all the time,
Right.
but obviously her slaves knew how to keep it going. Then she had to learn how to make the dye. When she did that, she moved it to a cash crop down by the Stono River, and then got a hold of her dad overseas, told him rice plantation prices were going downhill, that they were going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial days. This is something absolutely unheard of, especially before the country actually even got started. So that's the boring business shit. Let's get into the weird stuff. So that's why you guys are here. So we're going to focus on one set of questions, just because normally if I have my full group, there's like 5 spirit boxes and communication devices about, and I pass out different sets of questions so everybody has a focal point. You can either say things out loud or just kind of focus on it.
Right.
There's no right or wrong way to do this. We're going to focus on Eliza's death. She's pretty open about talking about it, but the 4 common things that we get answers to: how old she was when she died, so a very specific number, how she died, so whatever killed her, where's
a song? It's like, help! Help! Thank you.
So EMF average spikes for this location is between 18 to 22 milligauss. So if you have a kind of frame of mind for things around your house, your TV sets off about 40 milligauss. So we normally get about half of what your TV puts out. This is a place with no electricity. There are lights around on the wall, but they are solar panels. They are not measured with the EMF user that we're using tonight. The highest I've ever seen it go has been at this location in my 14 years of ghost hunting, 214 milligauss. That's like putting your head inside a running microwave.
Yeah.
We
That's
left.
crazy.
Obviously, epilepsy guy cannot handle that much electricity. This is a safety, deterrent. So that way I can kind of see, like, I'm going to be watching it for this major location just because this is where we would commonly get triple-digit EMF readings. If we're going to get them, more than likely they'll come out of here. Now, we will take like 1 or 2 laps around here as you kind of listen in and just kind of shout out with Tourette syndrome, like whatever you're hearing. I'll be writing down whatever you have going on. Let me see if we have anything.
And are we going to be focusing on the questions?
Yeah. So I've already asked them out loud. She
Right.
already knows we're here. So what cracks me up is like when people like from your TV shows, like they have conversations like this while they're in their haunted space, and then they start screaming, "Hey, Eliza!" Like she just heard you. So
She's like, I'm dead, not deaf.
So first off, we did get the word American. Most of the thinking men were politicians, so I'm not gonna like say that that's super paranormal at this point. But the next thing was question, and you just asked me, are we gonna be focused on those questions?
Yeah, that's funny.
But again, she knows I was bringing ladies with me tonight because again, I always come through here every night before I meet with you over there, simply because this is a place of respect. I always tell her who I'm bringing. That's how I was able to know your names ahead of time. So kind of keep that in perspective as we kind of walk through the space. We'll probably do 1 or 2 laps around the place. I'll kind of see what EMF readings we're getting, and then kind of make a determination if we're going to stay or if we're going to move on.
Okay.
So let's make a lap.
Cool.
You know what's kind of funny? 3 Chucks. What do we have in our family? Carlos is Spanish for Charles.
Oh.
Chuck. And we have 3 of them.
That's true.
That's so weird.
Specific about the
Just said the point is.
Yeah, my son's name is Carlos. His dad's name is Carlos. And his great-grandfather is Carlos. And Carlos is Charles.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
It's a 3. Eliza, what do we have?
I know, I'm asking her.
Come on, Eliza.
That might have been just the car. Oh, God, there's a hole there.
What was it? Oh, wow. 27.5.
I'm in a microwave.
Was that you? Oh, that was yes or no? Huh?
Reword it. How would you reword that?
I don't know.
Eliza, if that was you, can you let us know?
Oh.
There. I was just about to say something like, what color is that car or something.
Eliza, if that was
Not
you,
very specific, though.
can you let us know somehow?
Knock on the dumpster.
Huh? Oh, is she doing it again? Or maybe.
It's just a 10. It's 13.
If that was you, can you make it go over 15?
Let's ask for something. She's gonna get really close. Let's go back over 25. Eliza. Is that close to maybe where they're at? Can you give us a 25 or higher? You gotta get pretty close. Eliza,
Whoa, whoa.
what do you got?
No, that has to be because of a tree.
Yeah, things with leaves are not your friend.
Yeah. That has to be it then.
Let's start with purple sticks.
Okay.
Easier
How
to
old were
see.
you when you died? You can tell me.
That's definitely like a tree, right?
So anything, yeah, you're definitely looking at the tree.
Okay.
Building contours are going to be on there, and leaves are all in front of one
Oh,
another, right?
you said I was a teenager.
Ooh.
What did you ask?
Huh?
What did you
I
ask?
actually said, how old were you when you died?
That's not the answer.
Okay. But it said something, it says, was a teenager. That's what it said, was a teenager.
As a teenager. Damn, my pages are coming apart.
Some of the stuff I can't understand.
Yeah, and then you weren't meant to get it.
I was just about to say that.
How old were you when you died, hon?
Those are leaves. What?
I just said, how old were you when you died? I said, that's our business.
Okay, we have to respect it. We have to respect
Yeah.
that.
He said, don't you ask.
Even those kind of cues like that, even though it sounded kind of funny,
Yeah.
that she's a pretty serious lady. So,
Okay. I respect
Hey,
that.
you
have
don't
to
want to
answer
know,
for sure.
you don't got to tell me. It ain't none of my
Eliza,
business.
Let's move on to another question. Let's make things simple. Can you tell us what happened to the mansion? It's not here anymore. You've given us this answer pretty much on a nightly basis. Can you tell us what happened?
Oh, that's a sign.
Scheduled the entire family.
My hands are cold.
Eliza, tell us what...
It said mystery writer. In your...
headphones on?
Yeah, talk loud. Sorry. I have a bad habit of doing that. I talk loud anyway, so I apologize.
You're okay.
Blow your mind, the biggest names in country music. Sorry, just heard that.
Eliza, we're going to have to take a quick lap and kind of see what's going on. I don't want to disturb you, but can you give us anything relevant to what happened to the man?
I'm so jelly. This is really pretty. I really like this.
What happened to your mansion?
I try to hold it steady. Leaves. Ooh.
Did you? What animal this looked like?
Eliza, do you want to get closer? That'll give us over 50. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
3.
You okay? Do you know?
Eliza, do you want us to leave? Do you want us to go home? If we say the word home, we'll take the hint. Still the same words and words. Sometimes those, yeah, some of those can change over pretty quickly. 6.
You know Nick, correct?
My name shows up a lot. 53.7.
Are they able to tell you like how old you are?
They're not going to know that about me. I don't reveal a whole lot, unless of course they
I
have.
just didn't know if that's just something that they know. I mean, they've passed. I don't know if they have like
They, at times they
access to a collective knowledge or something.
I've never really seen that. I've never really truly looked for it either.
What's that? Yeah.
It is. Okay, Eliza, I think we're going to call it and leave you alone.
Just shows to talk to them.
Yeah. I mean, these little spikes are kind of like, hey, you need to go.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here. You know, and we're not getting much on your end or mine. So
Okay.
these are very high ratings for this location.
Leaves.
Huh?
Leaves.
Leaves.
So go ahead and hit your stop button. We'll
So
head
what do
back
you
to
think
the-
about the high thing? Do you think that's just
And then just kind of hold it at your side. We do want a view of one way or the other on the alley. So I was writing down some of the things that you said. All of the blood or whatever you heard. And turn the page stuck out to me, and I'll explain why. But welcome to Philadelphia Alley. So this particular location is a staple in every ghost tour. It doesn't look like it right now, but normally this place is flooded with ghosts. I was actually looking to take this space out this year, but I think I'm actually going to keep it in space for this year. We're going to not do that event tonight just because it hasn't been as active. I didn't do it last night either. Just want to give that space a break because they're new to me poking the bear. So it's not as, we're only there for like 8 to 10 minutes anyway. It's a quick experiment just to kind of see if we can get anything. But it's been really dead for the past few weeks. So we're not going to be doing that location tonight. But this location used to be called Jewelers Alley. So this is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So I say some of the duels because dueling was illegal. You had to find a hiding spot. Yeah. So take 10 paces, turn and shoot, kind of duel. So this was a perfect space for it. So that's what the name of the alley was Jewelers Alley. It wasn't the official name, it was for on sport. This is what the nickname for it was. Every ghost story tells the same story, but I'm going to give you the same story but with a few extra details because you're ghost hunting. You're not just getting the campfire marshmallow kind of ghost story. So let's get into it. There's a doctor that goes down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that the song Brown Eyed Girl comes through in that exact lyric, it's not uncommon because it is part of his name. We get it here all the time. So just kind of keep that. You don't have to listen for it because, again, keep track of it. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancee, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's an attorney, helping her out with all of the cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after her money. He tells her to get rid of the dog. So he comes down here to Charleston to prove that he's not. On his way into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. He's like having a really bad Uber driver. Think about it. So somebody was walking by and seen what was about to happen, and he knew who the coachman was. So he knew that this guy was being attempted murder, basically. So the guy that seen all of this, his name was Ralph Isaacs. And I say his name slowly because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. We were getting the letters R.I. all the time on regular spirit boxes, but I wanted more verification, so I bought that Ouija board device. So it works off of EMF, just like the guy in my pocket, and I wanted to make sure we were getting the letters. We've had it several times, so I've had the device for about a year, and we've gotten it, I'll just say about 5 to 6 times, whenever I bring up Ralph's name, so now I know where it's relevant to. Now, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy, he's gonna try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street, stay with them, and they'll rent you a room, keep you safe. The doc took him up on the offer. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, basically him and Ralph are friends, and he's making more money, so his business is taking off, his medical business. But the more money he makes, Amanda gets wind of this up in Rhode Island. She's now going to move down so they can be married. So, happy story, right? The doctor becomes known as the whistling doctor. It's the 1700s and he whistled all the time. We're going to talk about those whistles here in just a minute. But every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a cliched whistling ghost. I actually watched Kindred Spirits episode today where they had a whistling ghost. I'm like, really, guys? So, but you get my point. So, Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together, and they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So they have to talk about the plays on the way home. They walked home. So one night they go see Richard III from Shakespeare, and they're arguing over the actress they just saw. She was new to town, neither one of them had ever seen her before, but Doc thought she was great, and Ralph didn't. Then they start arguing over her, and then Ralph is insulting the doctor's fiance, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly, they went their separate ways. But Ralph told you he has friends around town. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, tells them to place an ad telling the whole city what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit, right? Doc saw the ad and was doubled with, let's go to Jewelers Alley. Let's settle this. Yeah, keep in mind that this argument started over an actress. Somebody they didn't even know. So they came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air and shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show it. That's often what happened at a duel. But Ralph had his one bullet. He put it in the kneecap of the doctor. He didn't die either, but he fell to the ground, maimed, obviously. And his friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later, after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. I'm going to point out 2 things. 1786, gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than what we know of them now. You should be able to attest to that. I'm sure you've seen 1 or 2, if not more, unfortunately. However, he's also a doctor, which means he probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, like a jerk, but he failed because he died. Every ghost story tells you to listen for the whistles while you're down here. Luckily for us, we have your camera running, which also records audio, plus my voice recorder. If we're going to get a whistle, more than likely it'll be on one of those 2 devices. However, we have gotten the whistling part of a song and the word doctor in a commercial immediately after. Doctor, we get it all the time. literally 4 years of coming here, I can't tell you how much evidence comes out of this place. Shit. That's part of the reason why I didn't want to. I wanted to let it go, but I didn't because so much comes out of here. Now, if you're going to try this on your own with your own voice recorders from your phones and walk all the way through the alley, and hopefully, like you already said that you were leaving tonight, did that light just turn on?
It like flickered.
Has it been doing that the whole time? Because I know it's been flickering the past few weeks, but I feel like when I turned, it like turned on.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see it.
Okay. It's just weird because it's been like
Oh,
it's been doing that pretty much for the
Oh.
past few weeks. It's been very dark on my little gated passageway. But anyway, keep in mind every local knows this story. So if you walk all the way through the alley and you capture something in the background, it's more than likely a local. So anybody that walks down Cumberland or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down the alley. So keep that in the back of your brain. Now, I always throw a whistle since I've been thrown out of here. Let me tell you that story because that's what makes the story so damn fun. Now, first thing you need to know is I do a shit ton of research. You're going to see how. This alley didn't go all the way through that way. There was a wall up there, halfway between us and Cumberland Street. That's part of the reason why I like to stop right here. So, the reason why is because this was called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock before it was Dueler's Alley. So imagine a bunch of cows and chickens down here. What does that mean for you? That means that the bricks on the other side are older than the ones that we're standing on. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint of a slave child down there in one of those bricks, and fingerprint swipes in others. And I used to take my groups all the way through this alley for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about that brick because that's the last place you're going to find him, just like a grave, right? So, November 26th, 2020, I took my entire group down there, and they're all huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen. And secondly, because we're outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I was trying to be respectful, not realizing I was out of bounds for tours. I was new at this. I didn't know all the rules yet. The new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was hysterical because her dad's getting yelled at. She was on the tour that night. And we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving ever since I left retail because I worked for Walmart in upper management. And you what position were you?
I wasn't upper management. I was a cashier, and then I was a service desk.
Okay. Well, I was a co manager ready for my next store. So I was ready to take over a store when I left. But at any rate, you guys like to fight over towels. I've been scarred for life on Thanksgiving. I'm not working on Thanksgiving.
I hear you are same.
Yeah, so you've been through. So normally I get a couple of chuckles out of that, but she's like, yep, I've been there. Don't mention it again.
No, I've been there.
So the next day I called my partner that I had at the time when I got into tourism, and I told him what happened, because obviously I want to follow the rules. And he starts laughing, just like my daughter did. And he said, you're only allowed to go down halfway, dude. Otherwise it's residential. Reroute your group. I'm panicking because it's Black Friday and I'm sold out again. So I told my team, I don't believe in this next story we're going to because I've never had anything happen over there. Secondly, I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. Obviously we're going to be discussing pirates next. Before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be discussing. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was like, okay, maybe we're going to get something. We go around the corner, I tell them what I do know. Remember, I only have a few hours to research before the night starts. So somebody else heard the number 300, thought it was very curious, I wrote it down. I go through their data. We were there on November 28th of 2020, Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720, the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial.
Oh, wow.
So, I normally get the, oh wow, that was so cool kind of mentality. I was actually pissed off. Let me explain. I told you I have a master's degree. It's in creative writing. When I'm doing this, and even when I'm writing fiction, I need facts and data, especially when I'm doing an investigation. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, which was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy. That's a problem for a writer, and a reader for that matter, trying to do research, because that means more books to verify information. Everything we're going to be discussing at the next location came from a minimum of 2 resources. Keep that in mind. It's a 50-50 roll of the dice if she'll even be there, but we will be able to explore the space like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion. We may also get things from Dr. Ladd, so keep that in mind. The turn the page bit, I'm going to wait for a little bit more before I reveal it, but if we don't get anything to kind of verify it by the end of the next phase, I will reveal what that is. I don't want to put anything in front of it.
Maybe I did hear turn the page. I don't know. You'll hear it, right?
You said something with page.
Oh, okay.
Well, unfortunately, that's the thing. You can go to our museums, and there's actually bricks and pieces of cement that actually have slave children handprints in it. So we just happen to have a few I've been to them all. I'm trying to remember the hell they are. Anyway, but you kind of get my point. I obviously can't take you all the way through, but we're here to store those things up. And before we leave, I like to point this out too. So it actually works for me twofold because it gives me a point of reference for the wall and what this actually is. So why is this gate here? The alley, if you remember, did not go all the way through that way. So if there was a loser to the duel down here, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of this wall. Otherwise, they got to walk all the way down to Queen Street and then double back to be able to drop the body off before they could go celebrate with the winner. So this was an easy creation. The wrought iron that you see was probably put here in the early 1900s, so please don't think that that was actually there. You see the archway was definitely part of the original. So just like to point out a couple of things, just because there are little intricacies about Charleston that people don't usually realize when they're walking around the city. So you've got some great footage. Your hand was perfectly steady. Did you hear anything, or were you focused on me?
I was really more focused.
Anything discussing? Oh, you can hold it on your right side. So we'll get footage because
But is that facing the right way?
yeah, she's good. So as long as she kind of holds it steady, we'll have some pretty good footage out of that. And then we'll probably just end up cutting through here. But let me kind of give you the history of what goes on here. So we're going to be discussing the little tiny building over there with the crosses on it. Those are not crosses, by the way. Those are earthquake bolts. So earthquake bolts are basically turnbuckles. So it goes like all the way through the roof of the building, and it looks like that just like on the other side. So if we have another earthquake, you're supposed to be able to tighten those turnbuckles, and it's supposed to tighten the building so it doesn't incur further damage. It's a great idea. It just doesn't work. They're all over Charleston. It's kind of like a Charleston charm. You can easily, so we'll go in there in a few minutes. Obviously, we just got to make a roundabout. And we actually have tourism police. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, because again, there's instances like what I told you about back at the alley that actually occur on a regular basis, and those people, they get fined. So I had my warning, from the tourism office. So I was kind of like, well, I'm going to make sure I'm always doing the right thing. And this area right here, a lot of tourists will come here, but a lot of times they come in, they talk about that building, and they leave. My people, if I have 10 to 12, they spread out,
Right.
so it looks fishy. And last night we actually had part of the clergy was actually in there, like in the lot, like they were just talking by their cars. But I did this exact same thing with them, the couple I had last night, and we just went in after the priest decided to pull away. So we're gonna give the cop a few minutes while I tell you the rest of this piece of history. But anyway, we're actually here because of those earthquake bolts. Those earthquake bolts are the first set that Charleston ever put in. So that's why they look so crude. When we get closer to that brick building, that's an apartment building, it also has earthquake bolts. They're just not as conspicuous, right? So they're not so obvious. But those earthquake bolts, because of the age of the building, is the reason why it's the first set. That is the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We're here simply because Anne Bonny would recognize this building because it was being constructed at the same time she came here to start her new life. So this is what I call a familiar. You guys watch the TV shows, right?
Yeah.
You've seen the Boo Buddy. You know what that is? The teddy bear with the little blinky
Oh,
lady
yes,
EMF meter?
yes.
Okay. So basically they use that to try to attract a child ghost because the child would recognize it as a toy. Think of that concept with this building. We don't have many buildings this old. This is just something she would recognize. So again, roll the dice if she'll be here at the same time as us or not. So we'll probably, once I give you the history, we'll do like one or two quick scans of the place, and then we'll probably move on. We'll actually let you guys warm up for a few. We'll head up to my office for a few minutes because it's just on the other side of that garage, and then we'll go to our last stop. All right, so 1708. By the way, the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? Follow me on this one. There's kind of a couple of twists. I'll slow down on the twists. But 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. You got me so far?
Oh.
The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was that wife that she kicked them out of the damn country by boat? There's no planes. Yeah, 1708. Anyway, they landed in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. I'm sure you knew that already. But I get a lot of tourists that don't know our geography. But anyway, Dad bought a plantation up there, and Mom died pretty quickly. So that means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown, because it was called that then, to sell things from the plantation to help keep things going. Now, hence the familiar building. Anne, back home in Ireland, was said to be a badass even when she was a little girl. They say she actually killed a servant when she was only 7, 8, or 9 years old. Remember, pirate lore, nothing is exact. With a knife to the belly on the servant. So, just want to give you her mentality as we kind of fast forward a little bit. Building's done in 13, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. The reason why, she's going to fall in love with one of these guys. She wants to earn her freedom, just like a man. First guy she falls in love with, I said first that way simply because there's a handful. That's what makes the damn story. We're going to cover them all. First guy is James Bonney. You already see where this one's going. I've already told you her pirate name. Dad didn't approve, so they ran away to Jamaica, got married. Ann Cormack, now Ann Bonney. That's where the pirate name came from. However, James Bonney, the new husband, is not Captain Jack Sparrow, like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which makes him a spy for the British. He's a coward. This is not who she wants. A few years go by, she falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off, in case you're wondering. Calico Jack has his own ship, he has his own crew, and wants to be part of that crew. Can't put a girl on a pirate ship. Do you guys know why?
All male out to sea.
It's usually the answer I get, but it's wrong. It's bad luck. A female on a pirate ship is bad luck, especially when they're out to sea. So he makes a deal with her.
Probably because they bleed once a month and sharks
Yeah.
come.
Well, I'm sure there's not. I'm sure they're more superstitious than that.
No, I'm talking about how superstitious they were back then. You know?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So with that said, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, I'll let you on the ship. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy, apprentice, back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But we're all adults here. Put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. You know damn well she is. She eventually gets pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl.
Right.
And every ship has a democracy. They will get rid of Jack by vote. So, before she starts to show her pregnancy, he drops her off in Cuba. Have the baby here. These are friends of mine. They'll help you out. Come back later and we'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, returns without a child. We have no idea what happened to the baby. So, if we get an answer while we're here, it's personal to you. I can't prove it. She also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack angry. Now, everybody's going to know he let a girl on the ship. So, to make him even more angry, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured.
Oh, wow.
So now we have 2 females trying to be pirates, same ship. Her name, Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Now, Mary and Anne were friends for sure, maybe lovers, we're not really sure. But the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of Navy ships to come take down one measly little pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. They don't know how to use cannons yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. So, 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns, not going to take on a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she tells him, "I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot to communication devices. Now, the judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's curious. He's already tried and hung the drunk pirates in Calico Jack. They're already dead and gone a few days prior. Now, the 2 ladies go in front. They reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge could give a damn that they're female. They're still pirates in his eyes. He's going to hang them. They scream out, "We plead our bellies," which means they're claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So, can't prove it, can't deny it. So he sends them both back to jail to delays the hanging until after their pregnancies are over. And Dad is up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count married because we don't know.
So, wait, I'm sorry to interrupt you. She was able to get off of a hanging because of
Dad
money?
died. Yeah.
That doesn't sound too different from now.
Yeah, not at all.
But if he was gonna that's like saying somebody was gonna be put to death and they just got out.
That's basically what they did for everything back then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Crazy.
Money speaks.
Okay. Yeah,
Money
sure.
talks, always. So, but she has 4 kids, and she dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt, because we don't really know jack shit about her after her pirate career. It's all for speculation. There's many rumors. I don't like to spread rumors. Again, facts and data. Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination.
She just stayed.
She had to. So, most books will tell you she died of something simple, like fever. I say we're talking pirates. Let's make it romantic. Call it scurvy. I don't give a shit what you do. So, normally when we spread out and kind of take a look at this place, I only tell you, I don't control the environment like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. So, I only tell you a few things that I left out of the story on purpose, so at least you had something to work with, mainly for communication devices. I left out the name of Anne's parents. That's the father, the mistress. I did not tell you what those were. I called them Dad and Mom. I did not tell you where she grew up in Ireland. So that's a new one for me. I always have to remember to throw that one in there. So we've been getting that answer from time to time. It's a good answer, so if it comes through, we know for sure that it is not just chatter,
Right.
It was meant to be heard. I did not tell you the name of Calico Jack's ship and the color of Anne Bonny's hair.
Okay.
If you have any other questions, normally with this location, I tell people, if you have questions, kick her in the shins. I don't give a damn. She's a pirate. Get the answers out of her.
Right.
Eliza Pinckney, I'm going to tell you to tread lightly.
Yeah.
Just because of who she is. Know your ghost. I will be vaping in here pretty heavily.
Oh, I do too. I was just going to ask if I can.
I was trying to sneak it because you mentioned something about the weed smell earlier.
Oh, I just don't like the weed smell.
But vape away. Like, this is your night. I guess cigarette smokers. I normally have a tobacco pipe before every pour.
Okay.
I'm a heavy smoker, and I actually do smoke a little herb to help with my seizures.
Oh no, I don't have a problem with weed. I think I don't like it because I don't smoke it anymore.
And I used to be like that up until about 3 months ago when my wife said we have enough stores down here that I can just go buy it.
Wow.
And,
it's crazy now. I
legal
literally see like teenagers and some of these things just buying weed. I'm like, that's crazy to me.
You know, it was the strangest thing. I'm gonna be 45 years old next month. Okay, so
I'm much older than you.
I smoked a shit ton of weed growing up. Not that we need this all on recording. But my point is like, it was so weird to walk in there because my wife bought something for herself.
Yeah.
Because we have different taste palettes. But it was weird to walk into a store and just go in and smell whatever we wanted.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the dude was talking to us about the different sativas versus this and versus that. And I tell you what, like, if I'm having a rough day or, I'm just having shakes that day or whatever, I'll just take 2 hits off of it. I'm not stoned.
Yeah.
I'm not even close to it.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
just
see a
enough
problem
to
with it at all.
mellow me down. I'm not driving, but I'm still not like, oh my God, I can't walk. You know what I mean?
I don't like the smell of it because it reminds me of when I wasn't out. That's the only reason. Because I actually like to smoke weed. I just can't. Because I get drug tested all the time. So. She has never done a drug in her life. I'm very proud of her. She's never even smoked a cigarette.
It's okay, I probably did enough for both of us.
I probably did. I'm lucky
Sorry,
to be alive.
I hate to mention a comment like that when you told me you're an addict. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's okay.
That was kind of rude.
I've been clean for a long time.
Nothing wrong with us.
Nothing wrong.
I make jokes about it.
She's literally like, she made a joke. She goes, I'm a crack baby. And I go, meth baby. Get it right.
Well,
So,
she's being honest.
There you go.
But yeah, vape away. It doesn't bother me
cool.
whatsoever. So what we're going to do in here is, again, I think we're just going to take 2 quick laps, see what we get out of it. I don't normally expect EMF out of here, so I'm just going to focus on the word box while we just kind of stay away from the cars.
Okay.
Again, I don't know if the cops coming back and kind of me pushing people out of here.
I feel like I'm missing a lot. I feel bad, kind of.
You're not missing anything.
No. I mean, like, missing the words that are coming here. Do you know what I mean?
That's why
Here's the fun part for you.
Is
Even when I listen to a recording for the first time, I miss a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to it usually a second time.
Right, that's true.
So, but with the fun of this is I give it back to you.
Yeah, that's
So if
very
you missed
cool.
it,
I'm very
you can
excited.
have my notes, your notes, plus a third set of notes of whatever you're going to find later on.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I'm
mention if you're
looking
going to
forward
listen to it, you might have a 4th set of notes.
She really doesn't have the patience. I do.
Probably not. I like, my attention span doesn't work well enough. If I hear like a bunch of different noises and then like someone else is trying to talk to me, it's
A lot of people have trouble with that. And I've had people that they just suck at this, and that's okay too. So I just say, if you're struggling with it, I got more tools. Hand that off to somebody else because that has to stay somewhere.
Right.
So that way I have something to review when I get back.
Right. Sorry, never mind. I forgot. I was gonna say, have you looked at your thing? But you have the word.
Yeah. So I didn't have anything over here. On the way here, struck and passed. That's a whole different story.
Wait, what did it say?
It says struck and passed her. Which is weird because I actually was listening to a podcast from a friend of mine local. He runs another ghost tour, and he was actually just talking about this story on his podcast. So, and it's actually really close by. So right up the road, about 1 block away, you could probably see the front lights of it. You see like the yellow lights off to the right?
Yeah.
So that is Dock Street Theater down there. So the story is that, and I don't have any like true proof of it. Every once in a while I'll get a couple of like little words here and there, but no like solid pieces where I'm going to tell the story like what I do with Anne Bonny. But young lady, I don't remember what year it was, but that Dock Street Theater used to be called Planters Hotel. It was basically a whorehouse. So in a nutshell, there was a lady that was past the marrying age. I think she was 21 years old, 22 years old, and nobody wanted her. So she worked at the church, but she's seeing what was going on down there in Planters Hotel with all the men being serviced. We'll just say that to keep it nice and clean. So she decided to feel wanted again. She was going to go take her earnings from the church, and she was going to go buy a red dress. She goes and buys a red dress, goes down there to Planters Hotel, gets herself a job. Turns out she's the best loved girl in the whole place. So she's very popular. However, all of the wives of the men she's servicing find out what's going on. And she starts losing clients. So she goes out to the second story balcony, and she comes out, she's like condemning the city. Well, the storm was rolling in, and that balcony is made out of cast iron. It has a lot of things orange on this thing.
I can see where this is going.
Lightning struck and basically killed her. The reason why the word pastor is, relevant to the whole piece is because during when she was out there like condemning the city and blah 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 up there on the balcony, is the priest from the church heard her and went down there to try to talk her back into coming to work at the church again. So he was up there when it happened, allegedly.
Wow.
So again, no true proof to the story, but that's the tale.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have Struck and Pastor all in the same time.
That's very interesting,
yeah,
actually.
we've been this close.
I
Very
think
cool.
that's crazy that she literally goes and works at a bar, and we're like, hey, come back to the church. That's why you're so good.
Well, times are different.
I just think it's.
Well, hey, I think that's what people
that's how
should
it
do.
should
No,
be.
exactly. They should
But I just
accept
think
people.
it's funny that it's like I can't imagine like the Holy Family
Unless
Church,
you're like
you
an
know?
absolute evil murderer
Do you
or
remember
molester,
that? You know what I'm
you
saying?
should be.
Like, can you imagine going to like the church that like Jose went and go to and all that, like then just being like, hey, we're all right.
Yeah, they would never because they're judgy.
They would.
I hope I don't offend you on this, but Catholics are some of the most judgy people in my life.
So, I don't follow religion. You probably missed that part of the conversation because you were listening in earlier. I was raised Orthodox, so me and my mother do not discuss my work. She's curious about it. But my brother is actually an evangelist out west, so we definitely don't discuss our work. But I told you I'm like a small celebrity here. He's definitely a small celebrity in his world.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's like we're just on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Very.
So we're gonna go chill by this wall while you listen in for a few minutes just to see what you get, and then I'll give you the quick answer.
All right, let's see what I hear. So this is Anne Bonny, right?
Yep.
I just said, how many husbands did you have? And I heard 4. Oh. Okay. So that number didn't mean much.
4. I'm still gonna write it down because she could take that as others. But me, actually, fast husbands.
Yeah.
So the answer is 2 that we know. So, by the way, that ivy wall back there is not your friend.
Gotcha.
It's got a lot of leaves on it, obviously.
Yeah. I got Mom.
My glove shut off.
This thing is cool.
How you doing on the temperature front?
I'm okay. I'm
So we
doing
can stop
okay.
and get you warmed up for a few minutes.
I'm not doing too bad. My hand's
It
actually
looked like there was
relatively
somebody
warm.
right next to her. Put it back on her. Oh, it's her coat. I'm sorry.
The giant coat.
Yeah, it just looked like somebody was right behind her, but it's the out coat.
Oof.
You got anything?
I heard feel like myself again. Then I heard 40. I'm trying to get her to tell me what color her hair was. I don't know. It might have just been me trying to like put a color to it, but I swear I just heard blonde. Oh. Well, I have an intuition. What? I was gonna say I have an intuition what color I think her hair is. I was gonna think red. Did you just say red? Really? That's the first thing.
That's one thing.
Remember when I told you you were intuitive?
Yeah, and it's like the gift of knowing. Because I also had an idea for like where she grew up, but I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
What do you have?
I said that. Damn. But I got red right.
Most people will guess that.
But I really did think red. I did. So it's crazy.
Well, that's why this is a sketchy area, because that would be residential.
I can't imagine like living somewhere where, I'm from New England. Technically, I guess that is a lot of history.
Yeah.
But it's just like, this is like right out your door. This is nuts.
Yeah, but the people that live up there, like, they don't care about the history. They just live in downtown Charleston.
That would be like the first thing. I would be like,
It's a status quo.
this is crazy to me.
Because rent down here is,
Probably outrageous.
you know,
I'm
rent
sure.
where I live is outrageous.
I feel that entirely.
We're probably gonna call this one a little early, just because she's not getting much
Yeah.
stare. It's weird. Still more things with what's her name. So.